The word itself seemed to have the magic of a spell conjuring up a brilliant future. John Ouma spoke the word aloud, and the syllables sounded sweet in his ears. He wasn't thinking of his country's Independence Day, due to be celebrated later in the month. This was something far more personal. "My independence," he whispered to himself as he strolled down the narrow main street of his village, keeping to the shade of the acacia trees that edged the Murrum track. He began whistling softly between his teeth. Today was a day to savour. The day he had received the results of his A-level examinations, 3 good passes with an A grade in maths. It was what he needed to fulfil his ambitions. He stopped at the local store where one could buy the basics of life: millet flour, maize, beans, fresh fruit such as oranges and mangoes, soap, washing powder, and a few extras. The owner was dozing in a chair by the doorway. "Hey, Mr. Ocott," John called, "you have a customer." The seated figure looked up, blinked in the bright sunlight, and cleared his throat. "Who's that?" "Hey, it's young John Ouma. How are you, John?" "I'm fine, Mr. Ocott, and I'm not so young. I was 19 last month." "But you are still a schoolboy." "Not so. I've finished with school, finished for good, and today I'm in a mood of celebration. I've passed my exams with flying colours." "Congratulations, John. You know, you have become the pride of the village, doing so well at secondary school." He reached out to grasp John's hand and shook it vigorously. "So, how are you going to celebrate?" "Not yet decided. Meantime, I think I shall have one of your Impala beers." The shopkeeper rose slowly to his feet and made his way to the large refrigerator at the back of the one-roomed shop. "The power has been off. You'll have to drink it warm," he called. "OK, forget it. I'll come back when the power is on." Leaving the shop, John allowed his gaze to scan the familiar scene before him. The main street was a rutted red earth road, flanked by a scatter of single-storey buildings, including one that sold mobile phone accessories. Even here, thought John, even in this run-down village of Mkandu, the modern world has managed to make an appearance. Despite the presence of this shop, Mkandu presented in John's mind a depressing picture. Progress and development had largely passed by this place. It was like being on another planet compared to the buzz and excitement of Kamobi, the capital city. The village was in a time warp, stuck in the middle of the 20th century, or perhaps an earlier time when the British ruled the country, dependent on subsistence agriculture and lacking any prospects for young people with ambition. Even the road, with its trickle of traffic, led to nowhere important. The village seemed like a dusty dead end. On the other side of the road, behind a screen of mvuli trees, John could see the long classroom block of the local primary school and the uneven, grassless football pitch where he had so often played in the past. The school building was beginning to crumble, and the corrugated iron roof was rusted with age. Close by was the local chief's compound, the only building in the area that had a tiled roof. Beyond that, John could make out a small cluster of circular thatched huts, shimmering in the late afternoon heat. My home, thought John, my home for all 19 years of my life.